You've met me, Lionel, at a point in my life where there has been clarity, but it wasn't always that way. And I think that I would love, sorry if it sounds like I'm preaching to our audience. This is an opportunity.
Well, I think we're trying to encourage people.
Absolutely.
Because I think there's a lot of people in a very disoriented place, in a very disrupted place.
Yes.
Maybe the job they've had that they thought they were going to have, maybe the identity, as you say.
Yeah.
I went through that. I had an identictomy performed on me. And I think you have a lot to speak into that.
Yeah. I'm 47 years old. And right as I turned 40, there were several things that happened in my life. And some things were precursors to other things. One of them was my wife. She had breast cancer for a brief amount of time. Now, we've walked through all of that. She's out on the other side of that. But even before that, I had hit a crossroads of my, sounds dramatic, of my soul, where I basically, I had an internal question that kind of hit me one morning in a very crowded room with a lot of noise. And that very specific question was, are you getting farther away or closer to the life that you're intended to lead?
That's so good.
When I had to try to figure that out, I knew the answer wasn't a good answer. And so it was like, okay, you're on the back half of life. I don't know how long I have on this second half, but if I'm just looking at the stats, this is a good time to go ahead and start making some shifts about who you are and being okay with who you are. And I think that once I realized, because here's what I figured out, Lionel. Try not to get emotional about this.
It's okay.
I basically had to answer for myself, am I God's masterpiece or am I his joke? And if I'm his joke, then I might as well just keep going down the same path that I've been on for the first 40 years of my life, which is I'm scared of my own shadow. I have nothing to offer you. But if I'm a masterpiece, then, man, I can change your day.
Yes.
And I didn't used to think that way. If I met you before I was 40, Lionel, anyone of beauty or power, and you're a good-looking man, and you have a powerful soul. But anyone who had beauty or power, if I looked at I couldn't look him in the eyes. I would not be able to look him in the eyes, and I would think that I'm going to mess up this moment and I'm going to make their day worse. It never occurred to me that I might actually have something to offer that would make their day better. But once I started doing that, I realized that that's not arrogance. I'm just making up for lost time.
No, it is not. Yes.
Just making up for lost time.
I think I would challenge anyone that interprets that as arrogance. I would challenge that.
Yeah.
That maybe you don't really know who you are yet. I just feel like everything you're saying is an encouragement for folks to dig deeper into who they are. What are your desires?
Yeah.
And I tend to think we jump to the how way too quick. Like, well, how am I going to make money at this? I could never follow that because there's no money in that. But there's a great line from a Ricky Skaggs song called "Life's Too Long to Live Like This." And exactly, this is like we say at the beginning of every one of these podcasts, this is your one and only life.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying if you're unhappy, you should ditch your family and bolt or whatever. But man, it's just worth poking the box a little bit. Like, well, what if I tried that? Or John Grisham, the author, started getting up at 5:30 in the morning and working on books when he was a lawyer. There are ways. That's what I hear you saying. There are ways to start poking around at that stuff.